Angry guy here, and wow. So, YouTuber Sydney Watson just got evicted from her apartment for, guess what? Wrong thing. So, let's go ahead and jump into this right now. YouTuber Sydney Watson recently got evicted from her apartment in DC for none other than wrong think. And I have to say, this is something I think we're just going to continue seeing more of happening as time progresses. Because a lot of people are not happy with the difference of opinions that are occurring right now. And as a result of those different political beliefs, people are handling situations in a very, very different way. And they're not really open to different ideas. More so, they are basically looking for like minds. And I think that this is pretty rough, but let's go ahead and just talk a bit more about this. So I actually linked the video in the description of the video. So if you want to watch the full video, you can watch it. You can find it linked in the description. But she titled the video, "I got kicked out of my apartment for being conservative," and I'll basically give you the gist of it. So I believe she's a YouTuber from Australia. She's an Australian conservative YouTuber. She recently moved over to Washington, D.C., and she needed to find a place to live. She ended up settling into a sublet, and her roommates were liberals, very liberal people. Unfortunately, this did not end up turning out well. So she had two liberal roommates, two young women who were both liberals, and evidently they looked her up on the internet or the interwebs, and they found her videos and her political beliefs. And she got home one day, and they basically just told her, "We need to talk." And they said that the landlord doesn't want you here anymore, and you have to be gone by the end of the month. So she had about 13 days to pick up her stuff and to get out. I mean, wow. It's funny because she said that she predicted this would potentially happen, but I have to say that it's definitely becoming and more difficult right now. I mean, she was literally put out of her apartment just for wrong thing. Nothing that she said specifically to anyone, did to anyone, nothing of that sort, but just for wrong thing. Just for wrong thing, okay? I mean, it's something that we all have to consider. It's something that we all need to know and realize is happening right now. That if you don't believe the right things, if you believe the wrong things, you can basically lose access to a number of things. I mean, Goo Monster points out, remember kids, social credit is coming, and it's how you will be rated. And a lot of millennials, to be very honest with you, I think are going to promote the concept, the idea of a social credit rating system. And basically it's like from that episode of Black Mirror where they have it in China right now, where basically you can't shop at certain places, you can't take certain trains, you can't fly on certain airlines, you can't fly first class, you can't live in certain places if you don't have the social rank necessary for it. You heard me right. Like, you literally lose access to a number of things, services, if you don't have the right social ranking score. And social ranking is determined by people around you. Okay, so they have like social ranking specialists in your neighborhood that basically go around and observe your behavior, and depending on your behavior, they rank you upon that. So you could literally be a person who does nothing wrong, minds your business, and you could have a very low social ranking because they say that you're not contributing to your community. Okay? Yeah, AP, that's not gonna happen. China, bro. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, so I mean, it's tough. It's really tough right now. Just being a conservative, just having a different opinion from other groups, you can potentially lose your house, your home. You can lose so much just for not going along with the narrative. And that's what happened to this young woman. She ended up losing her apartment just because of the narrative associated. I mean, it's really difficult these days, and more people need to wake up and realize that this is not something that's going to get easier. In my opinion, it's only going to be something that becomes much more prominent and much more difficult as time moves on. And if you actually want to have a chance at having a normal life, have a chance at, really really living without something following you, I think it's best to just kind of live in the shadows. Like, don't publicize yourself too much. Don't put your entire life on the interweb. I mean, because I know, and I know some people might say it makes me sound like a coward. Oh, but is it really worth it? This, I mean, right now I'm focused on my self-development. Focused on wealth building. I'm focused on, surviving this terminless recession, really socioeconomic collapse that we're facing globally. And people are busy with politics. All of this is a distraction for me, in my opinion. So while I empathize with her a ton, like, I've literally walked away from it. I've walked away from that whole he said, she said. I've walked away from from politics, and instead I'm just focusing on me. And I think that that's the best thing most people should be doing right now, so that you can avoid situations like this. Now, granted, she's been out there for a while now, so it'd be much more difficult for her to, delete herself from the internet. However, again, this is just kind of like one of those things that I want you guys to see. Like, this is one of the reasons why so many guys back in the old days, they chose to remain anonymous. They didn't put their identities online. For example, you have this new generation of guys who are popping up, and they're making channels, and they're putting their identities out there, and they're saying these things on the internet. And you have to wonder, like, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? Like, you wonder why you're struggling to get a job. Oh yeah, or you wonder why certain things are happening. Like, it's because people know who you are. All right, they know who you are. They don't agree with you, and even if you didn't do anything wrong, at the end of the day, they don't have to keep you. They don't have to give you a job, nor do they have to let you live there. And I'm not saying what they're doing is right, but what I'm saying is literally this: why put yourself in that situation? There's a lot that you can do to get your point across without becoming a political activist, all right? And to be very honest with you, a lot of these people are in it just for the money. They're in it for just for the money. Lauren Southern, look at her. She's retired. She just retired from politics. Suddenly, rapidly after an expose from Milo came out, basically revealing that she was involved in this massive scam that was being facilitated by her cameraman, and that she absolutely knew about. She was also meeting with some very questionable organizations, and it apparently seems that when she got banned from Patreon, it may not have been the person who banned her from Patreon, the CEO. He may have actually been right. And honestly, I thought he was wrong, but I think he may have been right, because the story goes now that the whole thing with her, why she was banned, is where she was like trying to block off boats from picking up migrants, like that were in the sea, and it would appear that she did that entirely for sensationalism, not because. And it makes more sense when you think about it. Like, what are you going to achieve? Like, literally nothing, not much. But she was doing it for sensationalism. Literally that. Literally sensationalism. That's why she was doing it. And I just have to say, it is really, really, it's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. It's really something that we need to consider, and that's more and more why I say we need to just, as human beings, as people, just focus on growing your own wealth. Focus on growing your own wealth. Don't focus on any of this other stuff, because it's just a big distraction. It's just one big distraction, and it doesn't benefit you. What it does is it only creates more problems in your life. Okay, so again, I empathize for Sydney. I really empathize for her, and I hope that she's able to find a new place to live and sort the situation out. But like I said, it's better to avoid these situations entirely and just stay out of politics. Stay out of politics. Stay out of groups. Just stay away from it. Don't publicize your beliefs, and instead focus on making your money, and then speak with your money. Okay, speak with your money. That's what I think. Let me know if you agree with that position, and we'll talk more about it in the comments. Nova says YouTube removing certain channels is also going to be effective to most channels. That's another thing. So for example, like a lot of these channels that are being removed from YouTube, they're going to be removed regardless. All right. You know what I see? I see opportunity. I see opportunity to fill the gap that they're leaving behind. There's a lot of people who just don't like me, but at the end of the day, they say all kinds of things about me because they don't believe the things I believe in. But at the end of the day, like I'm still making content, and I'm able to make content without violating YouTube's guidelines. So yeah. So as YouTube is getting rid of all these channels, they think that all their followers are going to follow them over to other platforms. They're not. They're not going to follow you to BitChute. They're not going to follow you to Minds. All right. They're not going to follow you over to Jordan Peterson's new platform that if it ever launches. All right. Most of that, you may get a few people here and there. Most people aren't going to follow you. All right. You have 1 million subscribers on YouTube, and you think even a quarter of those are going to follow you over to these new platforms? No. The reason why people put up with YouTube is because of convenience. And it's not going to change, especially when you're bouncing from one platform to another platform. People don't have time for that. People have busy lives. No matter how much they support you, they don't have time for that. If they have to keep on following you left from one place to another place to another place, it's inconvenient. You're just not, to think that you're that important is, it just illustrates one of the problems with, I think, the millennial generation. All right. And I've been trying to talk to other YouTubers and say, listen, maybe you guys should just leave this stuff alone, stay away from the political stuff, drop it, focus on putting out content that is acceptable to YouTube so that you can actually monetize it. For example, if you're a writer, instead of sitting around talking politics, maybe share some of your writing skills, teach people how to do this, or or share other interests, but don't stay away from this sphere and use the YouTube platform to build a great income. But a lot of people don't want that. They want to just keep on arguing. They just want to keep going back and forth. They don't want to leave it alone. And then they claim that they're victims when they end up losing their channels, when the writing was on the wall. And in fact, YouTube said, hey, we're removing these channels, and all you have to do is change up your content. Get rid of the old and change up your content. You don't have to be fake, but just, again, put something that's suitable. All right, and use the platform to build your resources. All right, and then you can focus on utilizing other platforms at that point for other types of content. But do not put that kind of content on YouTube. They don't care. They'd rather go down with the ship than live to fight another day. So be it. So be it. All right. You have to be able to use your heads, all right? My mother used to say, and I don't get along with my mother, but she used to say, when your hand is in a lion's mouth, take your time and pull it out, all right? When your hand is in a lion's mouth, take your time and pull it out. And that means having the common sense to reading your environment and then adapting gradually, moving away slowly, all right? until you're in a position where you can then take proper action. All right? Guys, I want to know what you think. If you agree with me that right now is not the time to be involving yourself in controversial or political content. Right now is the time to be working on your self-development. It's the time to be working on building your funds, and it's the time to be working on you. So let me know what you think about this. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and hit the like button. Let's talk more about it in the comments. Love God, get money, and cheers.